Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Brandon Lester Fishing. Another beautiful early fall day here in Middle Tennessee. Man, it should be a really good day today. It's no wind, called for light and variable winds all day, high in the mid 70s. It's about 65 right now. So fall is definitely in the air this morning. I'm ready for it to get even cooler than this, but I will definitely take this. It's better than the hot summer we had. But appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to go out here and look around and see. You can see on the bank line right here behind me, the drawdown has already started happening. In most of the lakes that I fish, they draw them down in the winter for flood control and whatnot. And this particular lake is already down probably 4 to 5 feet. We'll talk a little bit about how that affects crappie, and we're going to go catch a few in the process. Y'all ride along with me. Stay tuned. There we go. Finally got one on the back. Dead slick calm this morning. I think my split shot that I've got on may be just a little bit too heavy. That's a good fish. I think we can flip him. And that's a good one to start on. Pretty black nose crappie. Throw him in the live well real quick. We'll talk about it. So far, I'm having a few fish follow it. It's the first one I've had to really commit to it good. Like I said, it's dead slick calm, and I'm only fishing about 10 foot deep out here. So I think I need to go to a little bit lighter split shot. I made a video about that a couple of videos back. I can tell by the way those fish are acting that they want it to hover in their strike zone just a little bit longer. Today they don't want it moving real fast. I'll go ahead and change that split shot out right quick. Once again, I'm just going to a little bit smaller one, just because it's slick calm out here. I don't have any wind, so I can get by with it. The way these fish are acting, they want that bait to kind of hover in front of their face a little bit. So let's try that and see what that does. And there he is. Worked like a charm. I mean, worked just like a charm. It's another good one too. I'm gonna thump the fire out of it. Thump. It's another one about that same size, and there ain't nothing in the world wrong with that one. That's a doggone good one right there. There's one. I knew one of them had to get it because there's a wad of them down there. Not no real big one, but it's another doggone good one. Another one, 12 and a half, 13 incher. Good eating size fish. All black nose so far this morning. I didn't come out of a brush pile out here about 15, 16 foot. I didn't even really know that brush pile was there. I'm just out here kind of using active target, just kind of scanning around. Back down in there with them. Let's see if we can get another bite. You'll see what I'm looking at right here. There goes my bait and my split shot down on that brush pile. They're looking at it. There he is. Finally got one of them. A pretty good little wad of fish down there. I'd say there's 12 or 15 of them on that brush pile. And this ain't no crappie, as you can tell. This is not a crappie. Could be one reason why they were acting a little bit weird down in there. Get up in here, you little fat sucker. Little spotted bass. I just can't get away from them bass. They just follow me around. Pretty little fish. Well, he give me a good little fight. Thought I had me a big old crappie there for a second, but there we go. That's a crappie. He followed it a good ways out of the brush pile and bit it. Just barely. I just felt it get heavy. Didn't hit it hard. That's a good fish too. Biggest one of the day so far. Come here, bud. There he is. He was right there in the nose. That's a good fish right there. Dang good fish. I'm gonna keep a limit of them today. I got somebody wanting some fish, so I'm gonna give them some fish. All right, y'all, let's talk about this winter drawdown thing. And first of all, you may be from a part of the country where you don't even know what I'm talking about, winter drawdown, because it's not a thing everywhere. But it's a pretty big deal in my part of the world. Pretty much all the reservoirs around here and a lot of the reservoirs across the southeast, they draw them down in the wintertime for what's known as the winter drawdown. And the reason why they're doing that, we usually get a lot of rain in the winter, and especially in the early spring, we usually get big rains. So that gives all that rainwater a place to go when they draw the lake down like that. And just depending on the lake, there's some lakes in Tennessee that they draw down 30 feet, and then there's some lakes that they draw down 15, 10 feet. Just depends on that particular lake. So what you have to keep in mind is it's gonna move these fish when that drawdown starts. It's gonna move these fish, because let's just say they're set up on a brush pile and they stay in that brush pile all summer long under full pool conditions, normal conditions, and that brush pile is in 14 feet of water, 15 feet of water. We'll just say 15 feet of water, good round number. Okay, the drawdown starts, and all of a sudden, the next thing those fish know, that brush pile that used to be in 15 feet of water that they spent all summer long in is now only in, say, 10 feet of water. Well, there comes a point in time where it becomes pretty uncomfortable for those fish, and they move. I don't really think it freaks them out. I think they get used to it over years and years and generations of fish. They know what's going on, but they're also very aware of their surroundings, and they know that when that drawdown starts, that they're losing water depth over the top of their head. They can tell it, whether they can feel it or I don't know how they can tell it, but they can certainly tell it, and it'll move those fish around. So that's the biggest thing you have to keep in mind. If you're fishing a drawdown situation or a drawdown lake, and say you go fishing this week and you wear them out off of a brush pile, and you go back next week and they're gone, and you can't figure out why in the world they left, there's a good possibility that that's why they left, because there will come a point in time where it just becomes too shallow for them, and they're like, okay, it's time to leave. And you know, as fishermen, that's where it gives us a fit, because we're trying to figure out where those fish went to. So what you're going to want to do is mark every brush pile around, and that's when it helps to have a very intimate knowledge of the body of water that you're fishing, because you'll already know where those fish are going to go whenever they, you know, get done with a certain brush pile. If they move off of a brush pile that used to be in 15 feet, they're just going to move out to the next available cover to them. That's not to say they're going to swim 3 miles down the lake. They may if they have to, but if they can swim a couple hundred yards set up on another good piece of structure, that's probably what they're going to do. So maybe that'll help y'all out with the drawdown a little bit. I think a lot of times it freaks out the fishermen a lot more than it freaks out the fish, but it's really not that hard to understand. And honestly, it's part of the fun for me, is trying to keep up with these fish and find all the little nuances and the little nooks and crannies that they'll get in, and how they relate to fishing pressure and drawdown and weather fronts and all that. It's cool to learn all that stuff, man. It really is. There we go. This feels like a nice crappie right here. If it's a crappie, could be a bass. It might be a bass. I'm not sure. No, it's crappie. Another new spot. Not a big school of fish, but sometimes those little small satellite schools is what I call them. Just little schools that set up on small, obscure stuff. Sometimes those are a lot easier to get to bite, because, well, the honest to goodness truth of the matter is they don't get fished for as much, because they're not as easy to see. They're harder to pick up on side and down scan, and really the only way to find them is just to use your forward facing and just take off and look for them. A lot of times they're only good for a couple of fish, but if you got enough of those places throughout the day, you can end up with a really good day. There we go. There's another one. Another crappie too. Another one about the same size. No real giants, but I mean, good crappie by anybody's standards. I don't care where you're from. These are some good fish. I mean, they're thick. They got shoulders, man. Look at that. A little change to that smaller split shot definitely made a big difference too. Ain't no doubt about that. There we go. Another crappie too. A few bluegill in there. Keep expecting to get one of them, but all we got so far is crappie. That was a little bit smaller, but it's still a good keeper. Well, you got to watch them crappies gill plates. I keep a cut on my thumb this time of year from where them darn gill plates will get me, and I bet I ain't the only one. I bet y'all got it too. Make sure he's a keeper. Yeah, he's 10.5 inches. Y'all see that? Good eater. There we go. Another good crappie. If this is a crappie, it's a good one, but I think it is a crappie. Yeah, it's a crappie. They are feisty today. Wanting to come straight to the top, almost like a dang bass. Solid fish, man. Solid fish. This is the first one I think I've caught that's just a black. He's not a black nose, just a black crappie. We've got a lot of them too. I'll show y'all what I'm looking at right here. It's just a little old bitty brush pile in about 12-14 feet of water right there, right here, and you see a couple of fish sitting right in there tight to it. I mean, there's not a big mega school there or anything, but I've caught 4 fish out of it so far. We're fixing to go right back in there and see if we can't get another one. I had a question a couple of videos ago, how far out I try to keep that brush pile when I'm looking at it on active target. I like to keep that brush pile about 30 feet if I can. That seems to be a good distance. That's far enough away to not spook the fish and close enough to really do my job as far as presenting the bait right. I'm gonna go ahead and call my shot on this one. There's a pile of them in there. We probably fixing to get a bite right here. Told you. It's a good one too. You can't cast into a school of them that big and not catch one. Feels like a good crappie too. I mean, I guess you could throw in there and not get one, but when there's that much competition down there, you're gonna get a bite. Another good keeper. Just a solid one. Well, he's been eating too. Look how fat that little dude is. I'll show y'all my rig right here, just in case you're new to the channel. That's a 1/64th trout magnet jig head with the trout magnet on there. I got a size 7 split shot, about 12 to 14 inches up the line. I've got 4-pound vicious 100% fluorocarbon leader. My main line is 7-pound vicious panfish braid, and right now I'm throwing the 6'6" light action mustad detector rod. I'll link all this stuff in the description of the video. That way you guys can check it out if you want to. Let me show y'all something cool. I caught that fish and then fish left that brush pile, and here they are coming back right here. The whole school left when I caught that one, and now here they are coming back. It just spooked them, but they're gonna swim right back in that brush pile and set back up. I'm fixing to go right back down in there and get another one of them. There we go. Just had to let them come back in there and get set back up. That's all it took. That little 1/64th trout magnet jig head, I've had several people ask me if it's got a size 8 mustad hook in it, and I've had several people ask me, was I not scared of that little small hook? Look guys, I've caught crappie all the way up. I hadn't caught any 3-pounders on it, but I've caught crappie all the way up to just about 3 pounds, several 2.5s, 2 3/4. I don't lose many fish on that little 1/64th trout magnet head, so don't let that deter you. That little head, it don't take a big hook to catch a crappie. It does not. I missed a fish right there, but that wasn't the hook's fault, that was my fault. I just didn't let the fish eat the bait good, but that's a super sharp little hook, and it will get them now. I have caught a bunch of crappie on that little hook. All right, y'all, that's gonna wrap it up for today. I hope y'all enjoyed that one. I talked a little bit about the winter drawdown. As you can see it back here on the bank, man. That lake is coming down quick. It happens every year this time of the year. Don't let it get in your head. Don't let it mess you up. You just got to understand how the fish relate to it. It's going to move them around a little bit, but you can still dang sure catch them. As you can see, that's what we did today. We caught them good. And it's getting better every day with these cool nights. So hope you've been catching a bunch. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time right here, Brandon Lester Fishing.